Let's play a game of what do you know that I don't know? Like, what does China know that we don't know right now? Um, we know that, well, we read. We don't, you never know for sure with China, but it sounds like there's another major outbreak going on. And we know we got supply chain issues globally. But for them to go out and say that, for the New York Times to be covering it, I saw it on Bloomberg, New York Times, CNN. Not news you see every day. Um, Little concerning. You see rolling inventory issues here where things are out of stock, come back in stock. We've not completely beaten back the virus. Do they see another variant that we don't know about yet? We know, like last year after Christmas, between everyone visiting their family and the travel, we had that big spike in January, I believe, off the top of my head. Do you see that coming? Like, do they know something we don't know? That's what you always have to ask. It seems like the government always seems to know something, and we find out a month or two later. What does China know that we don't know? Or do they see some other economic issues down the pipeline, and they're kind of masking it with, hey, stock up because of COVID? But do they see other headwinds coming? Like, we know there's economic issues over there in, with the Evergrande deal in real estate. And now they were beating down a few other companies over there. Is there a more systemic issue going on economically that we don't know of? Will we have a contagion issue? We see our own economic issues going on here. Labor shortage. So many things going on with inventory, ports, high gas prices, high propane, high heating oil prices, inflation, your grocery bills are going up. There's a lot of bad signs out there, and you hope that they fade away, we figure it out, and we keep moving. But to see China encourage this, everyone remembers last year, remember toilet paper Armageddon? People fighting in Costco over a roll of Cottonelle? There was times I couldn't get milk, couldn't get eggs, couldn't get bread. It's to the point where I was baking bread at home. Like, I make the best sourdough on the planet now because I couldn't get bread anywhere. Or you had to drive out to the country to find a local farm and get milk. We realize what happens when you put 300 million people in a crisis. The government's not going to come save your ass. Did we not learn that last year? We can't even handle, like, regional, weather crises. Like, we still find a way to screw those things up. What we learned last year, the government, if they have to come save the entire country, it's not going to happen. You're gonna have to save yourself. So I have to imagine part of America's already stocked up after what they experienced last year. Obviously, things got a date on them, and unless you bought a bunch of those like food that's in pails that last 10 years, things are perishable, and you might have stocked up on a bunch of stuff last year and it might be going bad now. So is news like this going to create a whole new rush to the store? Recently you heard Costco was rationing toilet paper again. And then Kane and I on our show did an episode about we're running out of boxes, corrugated packaging, which, I wonder, I'm questioning, does that go all the way back to, do we have like a wood pulp issue and we're not harvesting enough trees, which means anything that's got a cardboard box, from your Cheerios to your Christmas presents and anything that require paper towels, all that stuff. If we have a raw material issue, then we got a major issue. So, but I can't find any news of that just yet. But I can't imagine it's just a cardboard box issue. I have a feeling it's a raw material issue. So raw material, probably short-staffed at the place making the boxes or making the paper goods, and then you're short on the people transporting it. We're triple screwed. It's a trifecta of hell. So I guess like right now I'm like, do I go like stock up on some more stuff? Call my dad, make sure he's like stocked up so I don't got to worry about him. He's 80 years old. It's strange when you start seeing. It seems like a lot of times the China stuff just gets beat down, and I just happened to see this on multiple big news channels or websites, and I'm like, that's interesting. You know, big news, not big news, we'll see. But it's like we got a warning sign again. It's like that shot got fired across the bow, and it's time to pay attention. You mix in possible more pandemic issues coming up during winter, on top of a bunch of economic headwinds. Where's that going to leave us? Maybe last year was the test, and the real thing's going to hit us next year. Economically, I don't know. I say stay in your toes and keep your head on the swivel and pay attention to what's going on around you. Housing bubbles, stock market's at all-time high, crypto's going crazy, inflation's crazy, unemployment screwed up. Like, I don't know. There's so many things you got to pay attention to right now. But we'll see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? Drop a comment below. I'd be curious to see what you have to say. Are you stockpiling? Are you turning into a prepper? I mean, you read this kind of news and it makes you wonder, what are you supposed to do at this point? This whole country's going to turn into a bunch of hoarders is what's going to happen. Because you got to be prepared. Because you realize the government's not going to come save you. Anyways, thought this was interesting and I would share it. Drop a comment below. Until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.